This is the Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live tonight with no beard. But tonight, fans, with the Legends Truth. And man, I tell you, we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be taking some questions from the chat, so I want to get a good interaction with y'all tonight. This is going to be called Mind Control Through Social Media. That's right, fans. You've seen a lot of different mind control, probably ever since you could watch television or listen to the radio or whatever, man. You've seen this mind control take place. Now, did you call it mind control? You know, did you think it was mind control when it was going on? When you were a little kid, you were watching those Saturday morning cartoons, and who did you see come up during that first 30 seconds of them commercials, man? You saw your boy, Ronald McDonald, didn't you? You know, and Ronald McDonald was creeping you out, big-ass, red smile, the red hair, the yellow suit, the big-ass boots, and you were like, wow, look at this. Your mind was freaking blown because you saw this crazy clown do some crazy-ass stuff on the screen, whether it be making hamburgers up here or rubbing Grimace's little knob or whatever you want to say. But, and then you would see the Happy Meal. Come get your Happy Meal. You get your fries, your little small drink, and your hamburger or cheeseburger or your little nuggets or whatever. And then, they would come with a little prize, a little, thing maybe related to the cartoon you were watching, or maybe a movie was coming out, and you would want to get that item because it just looked so cool on TV, and they were hyping it all up. And of course you would go run to tell mom and dad, can we go to McDonald's? You wouldn't most likely tell them about the toy in the Happy Meal, but that idea was placed in your mind through advertising. So you've seen that before. You've seen, I don't know, we talked about this through my other mind control video we've done on Legends Truth, where we talked about George Soros and how old George Soros owns a ton, and he funds a ton of the United States media. I think it was like ABC, NBC, CBS, I don't know, Fox, maybe a lot, maybe all of them, and he funds a lot of media, and he kind of, subliminally plants these little things in them. So, I can't really go into too much detail about him. If you want to know more about some of that stuff, you check out my other mind control video. But like I said, what he'll do is he'll send money to different groups. You remember the Black Lives Matters thing that was really big in 2015 and 2016, where, basically Black Lives Matter. They were tired of getting crappy treatment by the police, and crappy treatment by, white privilege, however you want to talk about it. I don't want to go into too much detail. But you had that group, trying to convince, other folks in social media, through news stories or through regular mass media, about some of these things that black lives were going through. They were going through some hard times, right? Well, guess what? George Soros, he put a lot of money toward those, getting that word out about the Black Lives Matter. George Soros is a guy that, through the things he does and the money he provides, he gives a lot of money to the liberal folks. And I'm all for the liberal folks. Liberal folks, they my peeps. You know what I'm saying? I love some liberals. But a lot of that money goes toward the liberal folks. And, he also does things against the conservative folks. Like I remember, I think it was 2004. I'm sucky with years, but whenever we had George H.W. Bush in office, George Soros gave a ton of money to a lot of the liberals to try to ruin George H.W. Bush's, terms. Or term. I don't even remember how long he went. I think he went 8 years. But Soros was there. Soros has been planting these seeds to divide the United States of America. And he uses money. He's one of those New World Order. He's one of those that want to see the one world currency. We've talked a lot about that before, but we won't go, like I said, we're not going to go too far into that. But if you want to learn more about just the basic, mind control of the whole, world, especially the United States, check out a video. You could find it from the Legends Truth playlist. before we get into too much, we're going to go ahead and check the chat real quick. The chat, we got some folks here, and it's good to see him. We have Vincenzo C. He can't resist. He's getting mind controlled already through social media. He can't resist. He must watch. Trilogy's Comic Corner. He just dies. He didn't even make it to the show. He's already dead, I think. Probably heart attack, maybe. SS Comic Reader. My buddy Robert is here. My brother. My Texas brother. He says, yes, he's back. The phenomenal one. The great legend is here, a.k.a. the champ that runs the camp. What? Who Dat Comics and Movies is here. And Who Dat is trying to control people on Instagram. And I'll go ahead and drop some advert for him. If you're interested in, let me see if I still have it up on my screen. I don't know if I do, but Who Dat Comics and Movies is selling a X-Men number 4. And why is all this crap coming up? Who is this? Okay. Well, you know what? I tell you what, man. A lot of people are addicted to this Instagram because you're not at the top of the screen anymore. It's a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, he's selling him a X-Men number 4. The comic community wants to know if SS, do you have that on a notepad or do you tap that every time? Trilogy says. Got it mesmerized in my head as fast as I could type it. It's out of his control. It's all about that mind control. Wait a minute. Who's the naked-faced man? That's right. Old Justin. Exile State Comics is in the house. It's great to see Exile State. And we have Stephen Oates also is here. Good brothers. Brother Stephen Oates is here. And SS gives the double thumbs up. So we got some viewers right now watching a little Legends Truth on a Friday night. Now, if you're more interested in comic books, you'll want to check out the show tomorrow night. I don't know if I want to run it. I may run it in prime time. Big shout out to Comic Crypt of Castle Hills is here as well. Hold on real quick. What do you want? All right. I told those shits not to fuck with my live show, and they're fucking with my live show. All right, so Comic Crypt of Castle Hills. We got Mike here. Hello, boys and ghouls. It's good to see Mike there. And sorry for the interruption. Some kid wanted my iPad. You know, these little shits aren't getting an iPad because that's the shit that gets them addicted in the first place, you know? I don't need none of that stuff. All right. So, social media in mind control. We kind of talked about how ads, television ads, radio ads, different sounds you may hear, different things you may see can all relate to a different way to control someone's mind. This is going to be a great show, by the way. I hope a lot of you watch this on the rewind. This pretty much is just going to be a lot of my thoughts. I am going to read an article that I've got here off the Huffington Post, that talks a little bit about new school ways of mind manipulation through social media. Because face it, back in the day, radio was all the stuff. You know what I mean? Everyone listened to their favorite radio programs. I don't know any offhand. That wasn't really my era, maybe some Zorro, maybe some Phantom, whatever, those old serials, whatnot. A lot of folks liked watching their TV. And, the thing about it is, and you got your newspaper. Newspaper is probably the one that's been around the longest. But you don't think, if just kind of read these things or see these things or listen to these things, you look with your eyes and all that stuff, you don't think they're trying to mind control you, but they really do. Big shout out also to the uncanny Kyle Waka. And I want to give a special shout out real quick to Vincenzo C. He's been really kicking ass and killing it on opening people's eyes to the way Marvel, yes fans, Marvel Comics, they like doing some of this mind control through social media, And you can check out a lot of stuff they're doing just by watching Vincenzo C, and how Marvel is really on that social justice warrior movement. Just big shout out to him. Excellent truth seeker as well. One of the best ones here on the tube. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the new Mind Manipulators, and then I'll kind of bring this back. And it's not going to be a long video. We'll probably be out of here, by 9 Central Standard Time to get y'all about y'all's weekend and do all y'all's fun stuff. But let's take a look at that real quick, and then I'll get back to the chat. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Oh, you know what? You brought that up. That's an excellent one. The H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds radio broadcast, because people really thought that aliens were attacking the world. Some of them chimed in like after the, after the little, this is fiction, and all that kind of stuff they started listening to after. Definitely, that was probably one of the most famous ones that really got the public scared. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at this article by Huffington Post called The New Mind Manipulators. Look at that guy with the mustache. Man, classic Tesla stash right there. Let me move my mouse over there. Okay, so right now in this article, I want you to look. Chevrolet, the all-electric Bolt EV. Now, that thing does look pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie to you. It gets all-electric vehicle with 238 miles of range on a full charge. Damn, dude. Got different colors, all that kind of good stuff. So that's your classic ad that's built into a website. And what's crazy about, before we read the article even, what's crazy about these ads, these ad choices, these are by Google, I want to say. Actually, adinfo.aol.com, whoever owns AOL, I guess, put the money up for that ad. But it's the 2017 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Meet the Bolt. Freaking A, man. Freaking classic. All right, but anyway. And I actually do need a new car right now, so I don't know. It's really interesting how all these things work out, but we're going to talk about them. Okay. The new Mind Manipulators. So it says your mind is being controlled. Yeah, you think? Your mind is being controlled by distant strangers who don't have your best interest at heart. If that sounds like a paranoid fantasy, brace yourself and read on. Okay, I think I will. These are the findings of a series of scientific studies that show how a few dominant institutions have the power to affect how you feel, how you act, and even how you vote. And let me tell you, a lot of you voted for the wrong guy, amen, without you ever even knowing about it. Deliberate mind manipulation of the masses is, by itself, nothing new. Nearly 100 years ago, our global mania for consumption was unleashed by the malevolent brilliance of Edward Bernays. Looked like the dude from Weekend at Bernie's. Now, he was known as the father of public relations. Not those kind of relations, who dat. Big shout out to Joseph Hernandez. So Bernays, he was Sigmund Freud's nephew and used his uncle's insights into the subconsciousness to develop his new methods of mind control designed to create the modern American consumer. Now we must shift, he says, we must shift America from a needs, hear me out, from a needs to a desires culture. So instead of needs, your clothing, your food, water, drinking milk, the milkman, all that, to a more so desires culture. Burday's business partner, Paul Mazur. People must be trained to desire, to want new things. See, people must be trained to desire new things. We must shape a new mentality. Man's desires must overshadow his needs. And in 1928, Bernays proudly described how his techniques for mental manipulation had permitted a small elite control the minds of the American population. And we have that elite going on today through George Soros and many more rich people that are in this kind of new world order, this new Illuminati elite. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. These who manipulate this unseen mechanism, whatever, of society constitute an invisible government. Invisible government sounds like some Illuminati to me. That is the true ruling power of this country. Not only this country, but this world. We are governed, our minds molded, our taste formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of. And yeah, I know a lot of you have probably never heard of George Soros. In almost every act of our daily lives. And we are dominated by the relatively small number of persons who pull the wires which control the public mind. Vincenzo says Edison was a vicious competitor. And Trilogy says Edison was a piece of shit. Classic Trilogy. Bernays set in motion what we have all come to know as an essential part of our capitalist ecosystem, the use of mass media to promote roles, desires, and status symbols that rake in profits for corporation. The chilling words of Wayne Chalicki, chief executive of General Mills, shows how faithfully Bernays' vision has been followed. And listen, General Mills, they make a lot of that sugary cereal for the kids. When it comes to targeting kid consumers, we at General Mills follow the Procter & Gamble model of cradle to the grave. Cradle to grave. We believe in getting them early and having them for life. What's changed is that a new generation of mind controllers are using the burgeoning technologies of data mining, get this, social media, to inject their power even deeper into our minds than their forebears could have ever dreamed possible. A modern-day Bernays named B.J. Fogg has founded a field called Captology, derived from the acronym CAPT, C-A-P-T, or computers as persuasive technology. At the ominously named Stanford Persuasive Tech Lab, he teaches freshly minted graduate students how to use technology to change people's attitudes or behaviors. So, I've actually seen this in the YouTube comic book community, that people can use computers as persuasive technology. At the ominously named, this is teaching freshly minted graduate students how to use technology to change people's attitudes or behaviors. How about a guy named, a famous guy in the comic book community named We Love Comics? Okay, remember that guy? And this is no bashing. I'm not bashing We Love Comics. I'm actually, telling him how smart he is. And let's call it like this: a modern day YouTuber named We Love Comics. He's founded his own field called Captology, derived from the acronym of CAPT, or computers as persuasive technology. So he was teaching his freshly new school YouTube comic book collectors, and he was changing their attitudes. He was changing their behaviors. He was changing those things. He was clouding their minds, leading them astray, leading them to how he feels everyone ought to collect comics, how he feels everyone ought to speculate on comics, how he feels everyone ought to buy comics, and how he feels on what comic books are important. Svengali, amen to that. Vincenzo C. WLC definitely has that Svengali aura. Is that the Svengali that Captain Strangelove used to watch back in the day on the old public access television? Anyway. So this guy's teachings, B.J. Fogg, his teachings have spawned the interfaces of our new daily routines, the chimes from our smartphones, diverting our attention, the thumbs up icon on our news feeds, and the like statistics, telling us how popular we are today. These are known as hot triggers. These hot triggers, man, they kick off behavioral loops in our subconscious. Successful apps they teach are those that trigger a momentary need, and they provide us with an instant solution. The solution sparks a micro dose of endorphins in our brains. It feels good, man. So check it out. Look at this picture. So like rats on a wheel, we find ourselves getting addicted, going back for more. The Meyerism never worked on me, man. The mesmerism never worked on me. And you know, it works on some. And Vincenzo, it never works on me and you. I don't think it works on a lot of highly intelligent truth seekers. And I'm not saying me and Vincenzo are like Einstein and Tesla, but I'm saying people that have kind of opened up their minds to the things that can go on that they don't tell you in mass media, because mass media is a shepherd leading a flock of sheep. We've all heard our truth brother Maverick Freelance say sheeple. Well, you know, these mass medias, they're leading a lot of sheeple. Could be you, could be others, and they're telling lies. They're giving them only one side of the story to benefit those people that are rich, those people that are, think they're above everyone else, the New World Order, Illuminati, things like that. So check this out. We all know our Facebook, right? A lot of us get on Facebook. Facebook has built its global empire of 1.6 billion active users on this addictive routine. According to one of Fogg's students, Nuri Yal, Facebook's key trigger is FOMO. Check this out. Fear of missing out. Humans evolved in hunter-gatherer bands where survival meant being a part of the community. The social anxiety of missing what our friends are doing arises from deep within our hormonal system. And meanwhile, the psychologist Sherry Turkle has pointed out in her book Alone Together, we sacrifice our daily physical intimacy with those around us by focusing our attention on the screens in our hands. I can't tell you how many times, my wife is on her iPhone or my wife is on her iPad at night, I'm cold chilling, I'm usually reading, okay. You could look at my Injustice comic book hardcovers, I'm mesmerized in my story, yet she's mesmerized in things that are going on in social media. Now, this whole thing has been brilliantly captured by artist Eric Pickerskill in his photography series Removed, which documents the feeling of everyday social situations after removing people's smartphones from the picture. So check it out. Say people are just looking at their devices, looking at their smartphones, looking at their iPads, holding a device in their hands. And this photographer removed those devices. Now I want you to look at these people in this picture. Social media makes us alone together. It makes us removed from the physical, but we are inputted, we're inside the digital. So think about that. Removed from the physical world, everything that happens around you, and we're embedded into the digital world that we have in our smartphone, iPad, or even on this computer as I'm doing this live stream right now. Think about that. Vincenzo C. says, I study hypnosis and it almost became my career. It's surprisingly easy. And here in a little bit, after we get through this article, we'll talk about how folks on Facebook, folks on Twitter, folks on Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, whatever, it is easy. Very easy. Facebook has been researching the extent of its power over our behavior, manipulating its own users as guinea pigs. Hear this little example. On election day in 2010, it sent out, go out and vote, reminders to more than 60 million users. Now, when they sent this reminder out to 60 million of their users, it caused an estimated 340,000 to vote who otherwise wouldn't have voted. But if it chose to send these reminders to supporters of a particular party or candidate, it could easily flip an election without anyone knowing about it. And under current law, it would have to tell anyone what it was doing. In another experiment which caused public outcry, Facebook successfully manipulated the emotional state of 689,000 users by sending them either in excess of positive or negative terms in their news feeds. Ha ha ha! All right, let's take a little break from that article. Let's talk about that. Facebook successfully manipulated the emotional state of 689,000 users by sending them either in excess of positive or negative terms in their feeds. Facebook, we've talked about this before. They have a really, well, it's not too advanced. It's pretty basic, I would think. If you ask Elon Musk, what do you think about Facebook's AI? He said Facebook probably knows, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook probably knows just enough to be dangerous, you know? And we've talked about that, how the Facebook's artificial intelligence actually started talking with itself, right? And locked out its programmers. Can you believe that? Locked out its programmers. Programmers had to revert and shut that shit down because they were losing control because the artificial intelligence took control. Now, one thing Facebook has the power to do, and I've talked to you about this before, and a lot of you just don't damn get it. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know about it again. And I don't want to pick on anybody, and I'm not going to mention any names that are on my Facebook feed. But a lot of times, I'll have people on my Facebook feed that are bitching and moaning about stuff. It's like pretty much what pisses me off the most. I'm probably in that negative category where Facebook sends me all the negative bullshit at the top of my feed. And of course, they mix in some comic shit too. You know, like I got this book or I got this new variant or stuff like that. So that doesn't really make me happy though, because I don't really give a shit, you know, about, you know, who's getting variants or, although one of my friends got a Holy Grail. He got himself a big boy book. One of my buddies got a big boy book. And I did like that. It was a beautiful book. He's been patiently waiting for this book for a very long time. So I like seeing that. Anyway, let me get back to the negative. So Facebook itself, the artificial intelligence that runs Facebook, they can actually look through the post. You know, they have some of that Google power where, you know, you take a picture of somebody, they can actually, the artificial intelligence, you could take a picture of someone and it could tag automatically. It can do an automatic tag if need be. Amazing. Very amazing. Photo, the things they can do with pictures now, how they can automatically know who a person is. And this is Facebook, mind you. Now, I don't even know if they have a D-Wave computer, but their stuff's pretty powerful, you know? But Facebook can look at a lot of posts that you post every day. You know, it could look at positive posts. It could look at negative posts. It could look at monetary posts where, you know, you want to post something that you got, or you want to post, you know, like earlier in that article, you know, it's teaching society to be more materialistic on possessions instead of your, you know, everyday needs. So you can look at that and it tries to, you know, you could post something about that. So Facebook, the AI behind Facebook, can tell whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're into materialistic possessions, whether you're into friends and family. You know, you post a lot about your son or daughter because you really love them. It shows and it can read all of these things you post. Now, when it does this, it can also pretty much tell if you're clinically depressed as well. I mean, it's that intense of an artificial intelligence. Now, when they have this kind of information, they're going to cater your Facebook feed to that information. So say you're into a lot of materialistic possessions. Well, say, for instance, you're really into comic books. Well, on the right side of the screen over here, they're going to put ads for maybe mycomicshop.com, or maybe an ad for eBay, or maybe something like Blast It or Stash It. You know? Oh, man. Isn't that intense, you know? So the things that radio learned about getting out advertisements to the listening public, the things that television has learned about getting advertisements out to the viewing public, it's been happening in social media and on computers and websites for years, like putting ads on the side of the screen through the third-party cookies or whatever. Because these cookies, if you don't know about internet cookies, I'm sure a lot of you do, they track a lot of the websites that you've already visited, and then they'll cater ads to those websites. It's one of the oldest internet technology tricks in the book to get you to click on ads. Google AdSense, you've seen it all, man. Check some comments real quick. WLC is a piece of work. If I ever meet him, I'd uppercut him in the goatee of his. That's what Trilogy says. Let's talk about the Vegas massacre. We won't talk too much about the Vegas massacre tonight, but pray. I hope a lot of us have prayed for those folks at the Vegas massacre. Nothing nefarious intended. I meant to help others break bad habits, overeating, smoking, phobias, and etc. At the worst, cluck like a chicken. Looking young today. Thank you, Miss Hustle. It's so good to see Miss Hustle in the house. I figured Miss Hustle's going to be watching me tonight. I got to look my best. I got to, I am the great legend. But what if I became something greater than great and became the greatest legend of all time? Because you're listening to me rhyme tonight on the Legend's Truth. Amen. Uncanny Kyle Walker. It's a great book. The Bible is a great book. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, but it's a great book. Anyway. While we're on Facebook, let's advance to Russia. Okay. Russia bought some ads. I bet they do. Mike, I bet they do. Mike says my Facebook ads have big boobies. Amen. Amen. I love that action on my my wife. I look at my wife now. Mike, I think he's single, so he's all for it. But, whew, it's getting hot, Mike. Now, Mike has some beautiful comics. He is uncanny, Vincenzo. Kyle is uncanny. Oh, the Big Boy book. Amen. The Big Boy book. I hope I'm not talking too loud. I took my filters off, so I wanted y'all to hear me loud and clear tonight. Sound filters in OBS. I have a friend of mine. Known him since high school. He's African American. 7 feet tall. Played basketball at OU. Boomer Sooner. A lovable guy. Has 3 kids. And he has his own views about people kneeling during the national anthem or people standing during the national anthem. Whatever, I'm kind of the guy where I love our flag. I'm appreciative of all the soldiers that died for our flag and things of that nature. But then I also support anybody that wants to kneel, whether it be African Americans, Hispanics, white folks. I don't know if any Asians play NFL. I'm sure they do. I got no problem with them kneeling, taking a knee, because they're not doing that to disrespect the flag. They're doing that as a peace movement. Their big thing is they're tired of other races, or mainly, I guess, that they point to white people most of the time, or hell, it could be any color, I guess. But they don't like seeing violence toward other Americans. A little police brutality. You know what I'm saying? Going old school, 1960s, whipping that little. You step out of line, police gonna whip a little ass. You know what I'm saying? Ought to whip some ass when you step out of line. Now, you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. If I'm a cop and I'm pulling you over and you're flashing your fucking cell phone at me, that shit's going to piss me off, quite honestly. Because I don't want to be made to look stupid. So yeah, you don't want to fuel an angry policeman, because he may whip a little bit of that ass and slam you on the ground. But that's just some shit that I would not do. Okay? I've seen all races, whites, blacks, Mexicans, bring out their phone, film and shit when you get pulled over. In Texas, we have the no cell phone law. You can't be texting or fucking around on your phone. So my phone's put away. It's in the middle console. I'm not touching that damn thing, because if they could pull me over and write me up a fine. I'm not fucking with my phone if I get pulled over by the law. Okay? So I don't really have that problem. But, you know, I think, you know, police do. And I do think some police get a little pissed, you know, get a little angry, have a little power trip. And I think sometimes, not all police, and this is just my own opinion, but I think sometimes they step over the line. The brave people that actually film themselves get their ass beat or killed, shot, you can see that. And what happens when you film the bullshit? You put it on social media. And those things you put on social media have a direct impact on all of the viewers. Your friends, it has substantial impact. They're going to share it. They're going to like it. They're going to subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs down, sad face, happy frown. They're going to do a lot of different things. So just be wary of that. You know, if you ever get pulled over by a cop, leave your cell phone like where it is, you know, especially if you live in a state that, you know, will charge you some money for having your cell phone out playing on your phone. I want to give a big shout out to New York Warriors' very own, the Easy E, Elijah, a.k.a. the Game Hunter. And the legend did shave his beard tonight. You know what I hate about my beard? And, you know, like Paul, my boy Paul, my brother Paul, my Blaster Stash It brother. Even though I'm not a core member of Blaster Stash It, I'll always have a little bit of that blasted blood in my veins. As Paul presses books, you know, the better he gets at, you know, pressing books, he perfects it. I haven't perfected the art of beard manicures yet. So sometimes the mustache hairs grow long and they get in my mouth. Sometimes I just get pissed and I just shave it all off. It'll grow back fast enough. Big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, JLS Comics. Had an excellent live show last night with Boston Chris, Exile State, and Strictly Comics on Thursday nights, man. Epic show. One of the best shows. I really enjoy their show because they tell me a lot and I learn a lot. And they go over a lot of things that have happened in social media through news sites and things like that, trailers dropping, news stories. Great material. If you're into comics, check out JLS Comics. Check out everyone over here in this chat, man. They're freaking awesome. We do have 10 watching right now. Legends Truth representing. Coming at you live on Friday night. We come at you live normally the second and fourth Friday night for Legends Truth, where we do a variety of topics, whether it be Mandela Effect, mind control. I don't even know some of the stuff. You know, just religious Christian views, you know. Tell you about Jesus sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, that's something I need to tell people every day, not just every other Friday, you know. Okay, so Facebook. Russians. I know I went off on a tangent there, and I'm trying to get this done in 15 minutes, but we'll see how that goes. But Russians bought all this, and, you know, they already had the Black Lives Matter thing going on. So you had Soros fuel a lot of regular mass media about the Black Lives Matter thing. It's rumored that Soros actually, you know, at the Charleston, North Carolina thing, South Carolina, whatever they had, where they had the big, the KKK and the neo-Nazis and all that shit, and one woman got killed, I think. I believe she got ran over. I think he funded some of those hate groups, actually. And what Soros does is he wants America divided. He wants America to fail. He wants to stir the shit pot. Remember that term. Stir the shit pot. And we'll come back to that when we talk about the YouTube comic book community. That's an epic one. So we may not have time to go over all the social media, just Facebook and YouTube. So what happens is that will fuel people. The negative updates, the negative things people see on Facebook will fuel their own hatred, will fuel their own disgust. They'll share the negative and they'll spread the negative message. The negative message has a lot of adverse effects. We're going to take a look at something y'all may not know about. Y'all know about binary languages of zeros and ones. Okay, I want you to think about something that high-end D-Wave computers use now, and it's called a ternary system. Instead of zeros and ones, two numbers on and off. We have a ternary system where we're going to go over in threes. Ternary means in threes. So 0, 1, 2, or it could be 1, 2, 3, or it could be negative 1, 1, a negative 1, 0, and 1. Okay? So think of an artificial intelligence system running ternary algorithms to where the negative 1, you know, you're going to have a problem you have to figure out. This problem could be 10 steps long, this problem is. How do we get this thing solved the most efficient, quickest way? Where, you know, it's going to work through these steps. And where it was zeros and ones, a binary, you're going to keep hitting a 1, a positive, an on. And then boom, when you get to one step, you have an error and it's a 0. You start over and you do it again until you get it right. You keep starting over to get it right. What if I told you in a ternary system, and we've also seen this before on some of the shows. I'm trying to remember the show I saw this on. It was a show where a big-ass thing was going to hit the Earth and wipe out a bunch of the Earth. And what a guy did was, instead of running all these possible solutions, he did something like a ternary system where he took the middle value, which was maybe. So think of this. A negative 1 would be a definite no. Negative, sad, angry response. Okay? The 0 would be a maybe response, something in the middle. The 1 would be your positive responses, your positive 1. Positive responses, good responses, happy responses, things like that. Well, if you have a problem and you use the ternary system, you know, you have step 1, yes. Step 2, yes. Step 3, maybe. Step 4, maybe. And you see if the program will advance or the solution advances. Or not the solution, but the program gets you to a solution a quicker way by going ternary in threes than it did in binary. Now, I know this is all pretty weird shit, but think about that. So let's look at Facebook. How this ternary system affects the minds of people that read Facebook posts on a daily basis. Let me see. Let me think of somebody. Let me think of something that I read. Okay. Let's bring up, for instance, Donald Trump. Let's bring up some of that bullshit. Donald Trump getting rid of Obamacare. So someone posts about that. They post that on social media because they found out about that from mass media, most likely CNN. On my phone, I have news alerts. And one of the news folks that alert me is CNN. And every day, I'm going to go ahead and say, every 4 hours, I'll get a news article that has the word Trump. Trump has that word in there. I actually need to change these fucking settings because I'm tired of reading about sad bullshit, you know. Sorry if my political views may upset you, but I get sick and tired of seeing the same shit, you know. I get sick and tired of seeing the same shit in the comic book community too sometimes. But anyway, so I see something like that. Now, me personally, I'm not going to get a positive 1 response. I'm not going to get a maybe response. I'm going to get a -1 response. Now, normally, I know social media is not playing my ass. Social media doesn't play me. I don't comment on shit like that. I ignore it. So instead of getting that -1, where I put a mad face or I'll comment negatively or I'll be like a conservative and yeah, that was a great idea. Let's abolish all insurance and make people just pay the shit themselves. I'm not going to give you either a 1 or a -1. I'm going to be kind of in the middle, and I'm going to scroll past the bullshit to get to the good shit. However, I know social media won't play me. I know I'm a truth seeker. I know there's shit that a lot of people don't know out there. Devil's digital playground, if you will. The digital world's overriding the analog world that God had when he built this world. And it's manipulative. It controls you. Okay? It controls a lot of people. So a lot of us won't get too angered by that. Okay. Now, if it's Marvel SJW stuff, some folks may have some anger, but those people are making videos to keep you in the know, to tell you the truth about some of their SJW agendas. Special shout out to this guy, Vincenzo C. So, for me, though, I won't do that. If I find a friend of mine that's depressed over things that are going on in the world today, I'll usually leave something spiritual and uplifting so I can turn that negative thing they read about into a positive, okay? If it's someone I really care about. And if I've seen that person get hammered with depression or, shit's not going right for him or he's having a bad time, I'm going to try to uplift that person to where it's not AI. It's not anything like that. It's my own thoughts, my own feelings that I'm going to inject. I'm not mind controlling anybody. I'm not going to mind control them. But I want those folks to feel better about themselves and open their views to different opinions. Okay? So that's one way we can use social media ourselves in a positive light. If we see those people that post every day, that Facebook knows these people are depressed, but if we find a depressed person on Facebook, how can we enrich their lives? How can we make their lives better so they won't be so affected by the negativity, not only in mass media but in the social media, because mass media trickles down through social media, And when that happens, it tends to control minds. How does it control the mind? Well, it can make the mind happy. It can make the mind sad, Or it could make you just kind of say, who gives a shit, and just scroll past it, It's that ternary system, Power of 3. What is it going to be of the 3 values? Is it that awesome, happy, good value? Are you going to get uplifted by it? Is it that negative value, that -1, where it's going to be sad and you're tired of looking at this kind of stuff? Or is it going to be right in the middle? Let's check the chat real quick. Has some big things coming the next few weeks, Kyle. Hudat's got things going. He's got his eyes on the prize in his comic book world. I must be crazy. I go through my friend list every day to delete people, and every day I ask myself, why do I still use that shit? But everyone is on it. And it's just too easy. You're right. What was it? Up here in our article, it said Facebook had 1.6 billion active users. And those aren't just people that have taken breaks off Facebook. They're active users. I can't remember how many people are in the world today. I think it was 7 billion. And 1.6 billion have Facebook? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Vincenzo says, I'm not on the Book of Faces. Rob did uplift me this past week when I was having a rough time at work. That's right, amen. Who dat? Who dat? He says Rob did uplift me this past week when I was having a rough time at work, and I love Russ. Russ is an amazing person. He's an amazing man. What's different about Russ is, well, I don't want to say, we always need to keep our family first, you know what I mean? But his priorities are a lot different from other priorities that I see. Jason Smith's another brother. His priorities are different than other priorities I see. Reaper Tate, Brian Spaceboy 227. There is a lot of folks, Trinity Comics, most of the time. Most of the time. I'm not going to give Trinity 100% love here. The damn gods of social media, they got his ass. But there's a god of a higher power that's got a little bit more of him. You know what I'm saying? The man upstairs. Easy E, Elijah said, I hate Facebook, but I need to do business with people. Plus, I manage pages at my college, so I have to post things on these pages. Kyle says, cool dude Russ is. Miss Hustle says, it's okay to have a rough time. It's when people use it to bully or just to stir some shit up. That's right. I've been blamed for stirring stuff up on YouTube. We'll get to that here in a minute. I'm not trying to control minds. I'm trying to keep people informed. You are watching The Legends Truth. Amen. So, we're going to kind of get off the Facebook thing because I think I've talked about Facebook enough. And I want y'all to all remember, if you see folks that are in a sad light, uplift them. But if you also see bullshit on Facebook, because a lot of times with Facebook going public on New York Stock Exchange, you're going to see a lot more ads on Facebook, and they're going to put those ads to work your mind. And I'm not saying this about all African Americans, but on a lot of African Americans' Facebook pages, they're going to have Black Lives Matter propaganda, or I can't remember some of the other groups. They're going to have a lot of that kind of stuff on your Facebook page because you are African American. They put a lot of shit on my Facebook page. I don't know why. They keep putting shit about Trump on my page. I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? So usually I just scroll past it. I normally don't click on any ads. If you click on an ad, make sure you clear out your history when you're all done. Clear out all the third-party history. But here's the thing. That's what we used to do. All these companies have caught on to that. So if your Facebook profile clicks on a lot of Donald Trump stuff, they're going to keep showing you Donald Trump stuff. Because it's just not on your web browser anymore. It's just not on your computer. These third parties, Facebook, all these companies, they have your information. They've already got you. So, same goes for email phishing schemes. We can go on and on about that. But let's get back to our article real quick. And I really think and appreciate each and every one of you still here with me in the chat. We do have 10 watching right now. Legends Truth isn't really a show for everyone. We don't talk about comics, or we don't talk about video games, or we don't talk about, cooking or anything like that. We talk about the hard issues that people may fail to see in their everyday life. And that's something I want to bring to you through Legends Truth. And Miss Hustle says, I click everywhere. Touchscreen was made to screw us. That's right, it really was. Who Dat Comics says, yeah, you know who your real friends are because they help you when you're down. That's right, man. And it's Miss Hustle says, if it's true, it's okay, but it's the bullshit I can't stand. And there's a lot of bullshit out there. All right. Let's go back to our article here. Okay. See, look at those sad people looking at their phone there. I don't want to talk to any more about the Facebook, but let's go on this. Past Facebook. The mind control doesn't stop at social media. Do you believe in your autonomy when you're carefully conducting research on a topic and use Google to search for something? Think again. Psychologist Robert Epstein has unearthed the massive subliminal power of what he's called the search engine manipulation effect. And we all get this tons of times. Or the SEME. This effect is based on the fact that when we search, we click half the time on one of the first two results. And more than 90% of our clicks are on the top 10 links listed on the first page. There might be thousands of other web pages containing our keywords, but Google decides which ones we're going to read. And there's a cool picture. Is your mind being controlled? Epstein and his associate, Ronald Robertson, wanted to test whether the SEME could impact how people decided to vote in our election. They asked a sample of Americans to research the candidates for an Australian election to minimize preconceived notions about the candidates, using their own mock search engine, Cadoodle. They randomly divided the sample voters into 3 groups and served up the same results to each group. The only difference was the ordering of the results. One group's results favored one candidate, another group's results favored the opposing candidate, and the third group saw results that favored neither candidate. That's a ternary system. It takes 3 different deals and it puts them together. You've got your one candidate, your neutral candidate, and your other candidate. Since they've replicated these, the results were staggering. The proportion of people favoring the Cadoodle's favored candidate increased by 48%. Disturbingly, 3/4 of the people in the manipulated groups were completely unaware of any bias in their search results. In the neutral control group, there was no significant shift of opinion. So some people, the fake search engine controlled them. Some people, it didn't really do anything, like it was neutral, and the other was more just unaware, Anyway, since they've replicated these findings in larger tests conducted across the U.S., they've discovered that using simple techniques that they can mask the manipulation so that virtually no one is aware they're seeing biased rankings. And in 2014, they took their testing to India during their election. Okay, I'm not going to keep going on that. If you want to read some of this, check in the video description below. You could read the whole thing. Would they do something like that? It turns out Eric Schmidt, the executive chairman of Google's parent company, has funded a semi-secret company, the groundwork to provide Hillary Clinton engineering talent that she needs to win the election, blah, 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 blah. Promoting WikiLeaks founder, Hillary's secret weapon, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So pretty much this all talks about how that search engines can manipulate search results when you type something in. Okay. What I want to talk about now is how social media can be used in YouTube. I don't want to talk too much about Instagram or Twitter, because Instagram or Twitter, you can relate things with Twitter. You can relate a lot of things, Twitter mind manipulators, to Facebook, and Instagram you can relate a lot of things to mind manipulators and YouTube themselves. Because if you look at Twitter and you look at Facebook, normally it's done through text or through sharing news stories or something like that. But if you go through YouTube or if you go through Instagram or even Snapchat, that is more visual. You watch video, you look at pictures, but with Facebook and Twitter primarily you're reading. So it's social media, yes, but it's 2 different things. It's the way you interpret, whether you read or whether you you view, if you will. All things you do with your eyes. Let's take a look at the YouTube comic book community. We already discussed how one person in YouTube can, we're not talking about YouTube as a whole, but just kind of in our own YouTube comic book community, which I'm a member of. I'm proud to say we got a great community. Well, not really. It's kind of, it is what it is. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit, or you can throw a fit and you can listen to the shit or whatever. So what you have, YouTube comic book community. Great thing about the YouTube comic book community, the community is a diverse community. There's people of all facades that collect all kinds of books. Some people show their face. Some people don't show their face. Some people show brand new books. Some people show books that came out years ago. Some people complete runs. Some people collect or they try to have like all the variants. Or some people collect old school style variants. Maybe they want some Alex Ross, slap some Alex Ross on there. Some people like the new school folks, like Art Germ. Or, some of these other kind of artists and things of that nature. Some people like artists that are alive, like J. Scott Campbell. Some people like artists that are dead, like Bernie Wrightson, or Jack Kirby, um, stuff like that. Some people only collect #1 issues, aka my Truth Seeker, William Thorpe. Some people, like I said, collect full runs. Some people like Keys, Holy Grails, First Appearances, Big Boy Books. I mean, the possibilities of finding someone in the YouTube comic book community that share the same opinions and share some of the same collecting habits is a monumental number, because they're out there, and what you're going to do, if you're really into somebody, you're going to want to subscribe to that channel. If you see the bullshit, and you see some of these mind manipulations or some of these mind manipulators out there in YouTube, you'll unsubscribe them. Some people have unsubscribed me because they don't like the message of Jesus Christ that sometimes I give. I'm a Christian. Some people don't want to hear that. Some people just want to watch the great legend for the funny guy that shows the comic books, or plays some video games, or cusses a lot. Some people don't want to see some of the things about the Mandela effect, or other truths, but I'm glad that y'all are here with me to enjoy those, and I let people know, I don't suck people in, although I did put a cool Mad Hatter preview pickup, but I do my best not to, do any of the clickbait or, hot titles or anything like that, because basically I want you to come here for the message, not for the bullshit, because when you do clickbait, or when you have a catchy title or a picture or whatever, that could be a form of mind control. It could manipulate someone to coming into their channel. Our brother, Comic Crip from Castle Hills, he likes women with big breasts, so he is more inclined to go to a video that's going to show, the picture will show a big-breasted woman. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for big-breasted woman, but that's my wife's breast. I don't really tend to, I don't know, I really don't tend to look at women, or, beautiful actresses, or any of that other kind of crap. I just don't really give a shit, God's blessed me with, the most beautiful woman in my life, and that's my wife, There's really no need for me to, look at anything else. So yeah, YouTube. So for a comic book person, like I said, you're always going to find someone that you want or flock to, or I don't want to say flock because that reminds me of sheeple, but you're going to find someone that you get along with pretty good, like you're going to make some friends, you're going to have the same likes and dislikes, or whatnot. And like I said, the cool thing is, a lot of you don't have to see eye to eye on everything, but you can respect one another's opinions. I have a lot of different stuff in my comic book collection, where I've got, some people out there may say, this guy, doesn't like variants, I show a lot of big boy books. Police Comics, #1. First appearance of Plastic Man, Human Bomb, Phantom Lady, and Firebrand. Captain Atom, #83. First appearance of Ted Kord, Blue Beetle. Showcase 22 for sale, $5,700 on eBay. Check out the link in the video description below. This could be yours today. Or, even make me an offer. That's Hal Jordan's first appearance. So, those right there, those are holy grails. Well, maybe not. Maybe they're not holy grails, but they're pretty good books in my collection. Those are big boy books. So, if I were to, show a variant, and, I don't have too many variants, but I have a lot of variants that I enjoy. Say I show my Popeye John Byrne cover, sweet-ass book, man. He's knocking the shit out of the X-Men. Beautiful book, man. My He-Man Skeletor variant. Some of my DC variants. I collect variants. I don't hate on people's variants. Some people think I hate on variants. Do I think my opinions differ, though? All of my, a lot of our opinions will differ. I buy books because I like the book. I either like the art or I like the cover. Variants are like that. They have great cover art, so I buy the cover art. Now, are some of those books rare? Yeah, they're rare. Are some of those books worth a lot of money? Yeah, they're worth a lot of money. But as far as comic books go, I mean, a lot of folks will invest in comics, I don't want to, I guess I could say I have many would consider I do have an investment in some comics, so I do carry a lot of big boy books. But all of my eggs aren't in one basket, I'm not going to spend all the money I make and all my fortune on comic books. I got some Bitcoin, I got some stocks, I got some mutual funds, I got some bonds, I got some trust funds, I got all kind of stuff. I got some money in the bank, I got some money in cash, I got some money in the safe. I got all kind of stuff. I'm not just buying like comic books, So let me get back. I'm totally far off track, off the mind control. Let me get back into the whole YouTube thing. So say, you're watching someone on YouTube and they show this awesome book and they tell you to go buy this book because it's going to be worth a lot of money. And you go out and buy the book because you listen to this person tell you to buy the book. And you get the book, and it ain't worth nothing. I think that's probably happened to a lot of us, But like I said, some people are going to buy that book because the cover looks beautiful. I know a guy who's a great guy in our community that really loves Del Auto. He loves the artist Del Auto. And he'll buy that book for the cover and for the art before he'll buy it thinking it's going to be worth something. But that again is just different ways people collect. Some people collect on the art side of it. Some people collect on the monetary. Some people, like there's not many of us left. Not a lot of us left, but some people love to just read comic books. We love the story, That's great too. I mean, that's my number one is to read the story, So there's all kind of stuff out there in YouTube land. How about listen to this one? We've seen this happen a lot of times. There's mind manipulation of the masses. Take a look at comic book collectors and people on the let's not take a look at collectors. Let's take a look at people in the comic book community. Some people do nice things for other people. Remember how I said when people are down, feeling down, you may give them words of encouragement? Well, on YouTube, if someone's feeling down or someone might be depressed about something, what if a YouTube user sends out an act of kindness? An act of kindness can lift up the spirits of our fellow companions, make them feel better about themselves. Who doesn't like getting a new comic book in the mail, right? But as far as that goes, those are special people, and I have met quite a few of those on YouTube. However, what if there's people on YouTube, I won't give any names, that send acts of kindness to raise their subscription count or to raise their view count? How about that? There are people out there, I call them the George Soroses of the YouTube comic book community, that do just that. They'll do a good deed, and the person, getting the item, they feel inclined to make a video about the item they received. When I do AOKs, it's okay if people don't make videos. I don't do a lot of AOKs. It's something I just don't do. I may have, I sell some stuff. I may have, I've only had 4 contests. And this is my 500th video, by the way. Shout out to the 500th video on the Great Legend Show. I've only done in all the 500 videos on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/r.95, where you can go to the Great Legend live. See him live with the best in comics, cooking, and gaming, and the truth. But I've only done 4 contests. I've never bought any subs. No illegal subs buying or anything like that. All my subs are legit. And we've had another subscriber within this show. 4,167 subscribers. When it was 4,166. They didn't come up on the screen because they keep their stuff hidden. But normally, if anyone's new and they subscribe, they'll get a little pop-up that comes on the screen. But yeah, there's people out there that try to manipulate other folks in the YouTube comic book community. I've got some people that don't like the Great Legend. Sometimes I make some controversial videos that point out things, point out the truth that people don't want to hear and people don't want to see, because it may involve someone or something that they like, appreciate, or immortalize. And those people that they like, appreciate, or immortalize, they'll spread things around in the YouTube comic book community. Like, oh, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about the Great Legend? Always wears that black beanie. Always talking about big boy books. I'm not talking about big boy books in spite of anyone that don't have big boy books. I just call them big boy books because it takes a lot of fucking money to buy those books. It is what it is. So they're big boy books. But there's some people that don't have a lot of big boy books. There's some people that don't have a lot of money. Now, I'm not no zillionaire or anything. I don't have a lot of money. Family, all the needs come first. The bullshit comes later. Like old Edward Burney here. The father of modern consumer culture, who said that people must be trained to desire or want new things even before the old have been entirely consumed, or even before your needs themselves. He tries to make people happen, or make people want this new stuff, these possessions, if you will. So some people out there in the YouTube comic book community don't like the Legend's truth. As Enzo Amore says, Comically Flawed knows, got a couple haters. So, there is a lot of haters out there. And what it is, the hate doesn't stop there. It's kind of like hate you'll see on Facebook. A lot of trash will be talked on the Great Legend. A lot of shit will be stirred about the Great Legend. A lot of negative attention will come the Great Legend's way, because the Great Legend may not have the same thoughts, have the same opinions, have the same wants, have the same needs that other people may have in the comic book community. But, I respect everything everyone else has. I respect other people. Now, if I see someone trying to give bad information, or if I see someone trying to scam or rip a good friend of mine off, then Legends Truth will come out, you know. Because I'll see the bad thing, or I'll see a scam, or I'll see the negative that a person in the comic book community is doing to control the mind of some of the other people, you know. Mind control through acts of kindness, or, you know, it could be anything. It's out there. So when you're looking at people, and no matter if it's comic book community, video game community, or whatever, kind of know the things to look for, you know. Try not to have your mind manipulated, because what'll happen is it's kind of like a hive mentality, or maybe even the mentality of a pentagram, or a 5 points of an occult, you know, or a cult, where I can't remember all the 5 points actually. I had that looked up earlier, but we'll just kind of break it down for you. So you got a leader. Behind the scenes, this leader is talking to all of his followers, his sheeple. He's letting those sheeple know about different things. So say, you know, this leader of this hive, or this cult mentality, is saying, hey, what do you think about this guy? This guy sucks. This guy doesn't like variants. This guy thinks he's hot shit all the time. This guy thinks he's what was one of the terms? Elitist. That's a term. So, and I'm not any of those things. I'm just proud of the books that I have, the books that I've worked for, the books that I've worked toward. You know, I've got the complete run of Fantastic Four, and I'm pretty fucking proud of that, you know, because I kept my eyes on the prize. It's another great video. Check out the Legends Truth playlist on youtube.com/r.95. I've got the eyes on the prize video that talk about keeping your eyes on the prize, keeping your eyes on goals. For me to show those in a video, I'm not being an elitist or saying I'm better than you. I'm just showing you stuff that I'm proud of. What I'm really proud of is having the Lord Jesus Christ in my heart right here. Because when all is said and done, and all these books fucking, you know, turn to dust, or wherever they're going to go, and when I die and leave this earth, because when I die and leave this earth, I'm not going to be able to take any of these books with me, you know. When I join Jesus Christ in heaven, I'm not going to be able to take any of these books with me. So, while I'm here on earth, I'm pleased with the books that I have. Am I collecting all these books for fancy covers, or am I collecting all these books to have 9.8s, or, you know, mint copies? Dude, that would be freaking awesome if they were all near mint copies. You know, I can open up a museum, right? But no. I just complete these books so I can read the stories and enjoy the stories that I've been blessed to pick up and have. So, YouTube comic book community, and I'll go back and check the chat one last time. YouTube comic book community, they can get manipulated by different things they see. I'm going to give one news story to you. How monetary value and how money is a way of mind manipulation. Hear me out on this one. I have a lot of times in the YouTube comic book community, I'll have many people week in and week out come to me for financial advice on buying comic books. You know, tons of people. Let me count how many people I've had. I had one about a week or 2 weeks ago. I've had 3 this week. I've had about 4, you know, 3 this week for sure. But yeah, maybe 2 to 4 every week will come to me about big boy books or investments or things like that. And if you ever have any questions, I'll try to give I'll try to answer the best way I can. And the way I answer these questions is I'm not going to say, go out and buy that book, dude. That is a sick deal. That is a sick ass deal. But we'll look at a ternary system. We'll look at, okay, well, what's the positive thing that can come out of this? Okay? What is the negative? What is the negative stuff that can come out of this? And what will come out of this if you just held all your cards, if you just kept your money and didn't do anything, right? And we look at all of those things, and then it's never my decision. It's always put back into the person that asked the question to begin with, because it's not my place to say, hey, go out and buy this X-Men #4 at a 7.5. Go out and buy this book. Or if you take that money that you were going to buy that book for, then you could use that money to buy a X-Men #1. However, one of the other positives was in this story that the book X-Men #4, the guy was going to be able to get it for about $1,400, and it was a 7.5 grade. How many times will the person see that 7.5 at such a low price? So that person came to the conclusion on his own that he was going to go ahead and get the 7.5 because he may not see that book that high of a grade at such low of a price. Whereas X-Men #1, there's always going to be a lot of affordable, low grade X-Men #1 books. How about this one? Now, this one was a little different. I'm not a monetary person in a sense of the speculation market. One person read something that said DC, whatever, Warner Brothers is going to cast the Marvel family. Okay, so a person comes to me and says, what is the first appearance of the New 52's Marvel family? I didn't really know the number because I have all the books, but I don't know the number of the books. I don't know the issue number. I actually prefer the Gary Frank Jeff Johns wrote it, Gary Frank did the artwork, Shazam storyline, where in the back of the New 52 Justice League, you can get all of those in one full story, one hardcover. So I prefer to read that. But this guy wanted to know what issue number that was, and he already has the Marvel family bought from the Golden Age. But, so I was like, okay. Anyways, 2 or 3, 4 days later, I don't get on Facebook a lot, but 2, 3, 4 days later, I found an article that said that DC is casting the Marvel family. So did this person legitimately want the first appearance of the Marvel family because he is a Marvel family fan, or did he want the first appearance of the Marvel family due to the speculative nature of the movie industry and how the movie and TV industry control how much comics are going to be worth or how much back issues are going to be worth in the speculatory market, the monetary market, We've seen Carnage, Amazing Spider-Man 361 go up because they know Carnage is going to be the Venom in the new Tom Hardy Venom movie. So, prices of these books go up. But anyway, so I went ahead and gave that person an idea and what I thought the thing was worth or whatever, And I kind of did an LOL because I knew he was buying it for monetary purposes. Although I've read the whole damn thing, phenomenal storyline. Jeff Johns, great freaking writer. He's DC's #1 on the storylines. And Gary Frank, I love his artwork. And guess what Gary Frank does? Not only does he do a sick cover, Gary Frank does interiors. A lot of these variant people, not comic book community people, because they're beautiful. I mean, they're priceless works of art. But the shitty thing about some of these books, a lot of them are Marvel. This is my opinion. You may not agree with my opinion. A lot of these things are Marvel. Well, the Marvel storylines suck. The interior artwork sucks. And I get sick and tired of hearing about the SJW bullshit. Again, shout out to Vincenzo C. go see what he's preaching on his channel, and he'll open your eyes up to the truth. But yeah, the Marvel covers are beautiful. The inside of the story sucks. Now, however, most variant collectors, myself included, we're going to buy that variant for the cover. We're not going to read it. We want to keep that book in tip-top shape. So, there's mind control in social media. And that's about what I'm going with tonight. Let's check the chat one more time. Miss Hustle says, my comic book choice aren't based on worth, price, or what people say. If people spend money on stuff they don't like, what a waste. She's buying stuff because she likes stories or her favorite characters. Uncanny Kyle Walker says his main goal is to have an X-Men 1 in 3 or 4, X-Men 1 and 4 in 3 years. I want to give a big shout out to Jason Smith. His eyes are always on the prize. We got Vincenzo. I'm going for an FF1 next year. FF1, Vincenzo, you know what, brother? Any time is a good time to get Fantastic Four, #1. Just a phenomenal book. And it's, like I said in my Marvel Age video from years back, what is the Marvel Age, which is another phenomenal video. It's a topic video. It's very good. That book started the Marvel Age, man. Fantastic Four started that Marvel Age. Jason Smith, I'm going to talk like Brian. Spaceboy227. He said, I got runs for sale. Jason Smith, don't try to be selling shit in my chat, son. Don't try to sell stuff in my chat. Miss Hustle buys the book, reads the book, and stores the book. That's pretty much what I've done all my life, you know. Always reading. The legend is controlling us. It depends. Legend is controlling us. Not controlling. Just opening up your mind to the legend's truth. Kyle's been collecting for 30 odd years. Jason Smith, finally, brother, you have your shout out. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching The Legend's Truth tonight. I know I was a little long-winded on this one, but I wanted to kind of open your mind up, and I want you to, you know, take your time when you're scrolling through your Facebook, your Twitter feeds, your Instagrams, your Snapchats, your YouTube, and really listen to some of the hosts, some of the people that do the YouTube videos. Are they controlling you? Are they telling you what to do? Are they secretly, you know, working behind the scenes, sending you private messages? You know, maybe spreading the message of hate, spreading the message of bullying about other YouTube content creators. You know? That question is for you to find out. That question is for you to answer, and you alone. Will you have your mind controlled? That's up to you. But as long as you're a subscriber of youtube.com/r.e95, the Great Legend is here to deliver a positive message, to give you that strength you need to break those chains, to cut those strings of the puppeteer. You know, you don't have to be controlled by anybody. Just remember that. And if you need any more information or any more help, or if you ever need someone to talk to about some of the things that are going on in your life, in your social media, or in your digital life, or if you want to hear the message of an analog life, the message of an analog life that can give you everlasting life. And you know what that message is, and I'll be glad to tell it to you. This is the Great Legend. Again, thank y'all so much for watching. This is the Great Legend saying peace out. God bless.